going to fall for Martinez. Antonov trying to get there. Martinez finishes to give away the match.
It's an absolute peach from the Paraguayan Miguel Almiron.
Atlanta United in just their second year of existence have won MLS Cup.
Ojo con la alta wins.
Comes without a warning. I'm making honest mistakes.
Fast Start Final. If you think you found rock bottom, stick around a while.
Keep searching. Isn't there like an Evanescence song or something about like what the situation we're in, just stuck in like an eternal hell or something? Having to keep doing this podcast week after week. The
song
saving...
is about this podcast. It's a bit on the nose. It's a small market, but sure.
The only saving grace is at least we got a new way for this team to capitulate that we saw that we haven't seen yet. I don't know if that's a saving grace, actually. I don't know if that's good or bad for us, but
and the whole time it feels like a bad dream where you're trying to say, "Wake me up, wake me up."
Right. Yes, exactly.
Can't wake up inside. Can't wake up. Atlanta United 3-2 losers, and man,
in a battle of last place teams in MLS, only one could emerge victorious.
And Atlanta United won the losing battle in a spectacular way, man. At one point, I was kind of having fun with the goofiness of it all. Atlanta United is up 2-0. They score their first goal on literally the single worst soccer goal I've ever seen in my entire life. The most like successful failing action I've ever seen in any sport in my entire life.
Right. I feel like only in soccer could you get that. Like, golf, baseball, like you don't get like accidental success in other sports, I feel like Miguel Almiron got.
Not on the same level.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure the pass was intentional. I went back and rewatched. I did go back and rewatch. Please clap.
Was it Alexi who passed that? Because I saw after the game he had an assist, and I don't remember when it
It was Fafa. So maybe Alexi got a assist for
his. Must have been for
maybe the pass before
like
that.
A basic pass at Tristan who curls one into the corner. Yeah.
The best kind of assist. I'm sure someone will throw that in our face later and be like, "See, Alexi's good actually." He got an assist. But yeah, man. At that point, at 2-0, Joe Patrick, did you feel like they were going to hang on? Let's say around the 70th minute mark, did you feel like they were going to hang on?
Once it got to 2-1, that was when I was like, okay, they're going to blow this thing. Even in 90th minute, I was fully expecting what happened to happen. Yeah. I was hoping that it wouldn't, but it never felt comfortable. Like it was just an onslaught. They were just trying to hold on at the end of that game. And when you see Ronald Hernandez come on, that's like the kiss of death.
Yeah, man. Neither goal is necessarily his fault. He doesn't do well.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying it's the vibes of the juju. I don't know, something. But whenever he's coming on the field, it just feels like something bad is going to happen for the team.
It started to feel really bad when him and Matt Edwards couldn't quite figure out exactly what they were supposed to be doing. They did clarify it before anything bad could come from that. But bad things did come from Ronald Hernandez just not having great positioning defensively. Philly plays the cross in, and they're playing a cross into a 6'7" center back, and that leads to the second goal. The third goal is just an excellent finish. It might have also been on accident, but looked way cooler than Miguel's. And that's that, man.
I was laughing.
3-2 losers.
You talk about having fun. I was having fun at the fact that Atlanta United had taken a 2-goal lead after a Mihai was sent off. So it's like,
that was the fun part.
Your Max Tam, you're like one of your Max Tam players is not playing in this game. First of all, the other one gets sent off, and then you go out after he leaves the game and take a 2-0 lead. It just kind of it's just comical, and it doesn't necessarily make sense other than the narrative, but that like these players are just so ineffectual for this team, and that you're just trying to hope to get something from other players, but that's typically not the way it works in MLS. Like, you need your players that you pay to be good, and if they're not, you suck, and that's where Atlanta United is.
Yeah. Real quick, any thoughts on Mihai and the red card? We are not a refereeing podcast. We never will be.
Yeah. Well, you don't. Like, I feel like I don't often see those types of fouls given as red cards. Yeah. Like those ones where there's like he's like on the back of a player who's receiving a ball.
Yeah. Don't think it was intentional. Definitely think he got him. And in the end, you're up 2-0.
Yeah, I never really saw even a good like shot to really make
Yeah.
a case in my own mind as to whether it was a red or not. But
Yeah. Should it matter though when you're up 2-0? No, not really.
right,
Not
right.
really. Atlanta dropped off into a 4-4-1, which was totally fine. And they held on for your life the rest of the time, and they were doing totally fine. And in the beginning, Joe, I was going back and again, I did a rewatch. Please clap. I need something from that.
Wow.
They set up in a back three, and it was actually interesting to go back and look at that. And it would have been really interesting to see how it played out across the entire game because it was kind of a direct counter to Philadelphia's 4-2-2, 4-4-2, whatever you want to call it. They really found ways to exploit space out wide, which is what you want to do against that kind of setup. You want to pin the fullbacks back. You want to exploit space behind the fullbacks, and the fullbacks get forward because the fullbacks are the primary folks to provide width for Philadelphia. You also had 3 center backs against 2 strikers, and those are the things that are pretty strong counters to what Philadelphia want to do. Those to see Atlanta kind of revert to that. It was working, Joe. There were some decent moments for Atlanta, and then the red card threw all of that out the window. So kind of destroyed any real analysis we could do of all this. The only thing we really have is that it's all just sad, really sad.
Yeah. I do think it's probably the right call for Tata. I mean, I kind of would rather just see this team play with a back three like this, assuming you're going to play Mihai. But I just feel like Jakob provides so much more value as a center back than he does as a right back. But, then that takes us to the problem we've been talking about, which is that you don't really kind of then have a right back because he was supposed to be that guy. But at this point in time, this team's out of contention. I'd rather just Jakob, if he's here for long term, develop him in a position that he's familiar with. Having said that, maybe there's not space for him, unless they can maybe get rid of Mihai because they obviously have 2 center backs who are coming in. One is yet to enter the team, but that could potentially work with those 3. But I don't know, man. This is what makes me a little depressed about this team, or a lot depressed about this team, is it just feels like you don't have the right pieces for the right holes, and the cavalry's not coming, basically, at least in the immediate term.
Yeah. I mean, some of the frustrations with Jakob are some of the frustrations I have with the Bias signing. You have a player that is now kind of proving that he's better in a position that you don't really need him to be better in. You keep adding center backs, and it just feels so directionless, and it feels so, frankly, misguided to have these guys in spots where they are not needed. And so what are they there for?
Yeah.
It's not really clear.
That's what surprises me too, about this like being a Tata team. And I thought if anything, Tata was going to come in and have a very clear idea of like the positions that he needs. Well, I guess he does feel like he has a clear idea of what he needs, but it's just overlapping with obviously what the team has done in the past. And so there's not like doesn't feel like they're treading. It's like they're treading a path that has not been worn. Like they're like creating their new, but like, there's not, it's just like not an efficient way to use resources on the roster. And it's hurting this team. What's concerning to me is like they were clearly targeting a 6 before the season, going into the season. Then the Koke rumors came up again. And now I don't even see any rumors for a central midfielder. And it feels like a central midfielder would be the most impactful player you could get. Like if you were to get like a quality one, I'd rather take a quality central midfield right now over a quality striker, which is where all the rumors are for.
Yeah, the experience right now of having neither Jay or Cooper available has been pretty dire, to be totally honest. I mean, Tristan and Will are just not a solid pairing. By any means. They don't complement each other. They don't make each other better. And Will is out there doing a tough job, but he is also struggling on the ball. He feels overwhelmed a large majority of the time, especially when he's asked to be a single pivot or whatever else, just to be in isolated moments, having to play in 360 degrees. He hasn't been solid in those moments.
Yeah, he's like a step slow. Kind of reminds me of if we have any Falcons fans listening, like JD Bertrand last year. He was supposed to be this guy that the Falcons drafted who was like very professional, very on top of like preparing his body, doing all the film study, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm sure he did all that. And then he got an opportunity to get on the field last year, and he's just not athletically there. And he's just like constantly behind the play, constantly costing the defense. And it's not a direct comparison to like exactly what, Will's struggling with right now, but it's just that constant kind of shortcoming that you're having on the field that is just exposing the team, and especially when you're playing in that setup where you only have two midfielders, it's really tough. Like you said, it's a huge job, and I kind of feel bad for him in that sense. Like,
Yeah.
it's just no one should expect him to like go out and dominate, you know?
Right. Exactly. And to be fair to him, it's not like anyone else was any good. You
Right.
know?
Yeah, totally.
No one putting on a spectacular performance in this one or the entire season.
Yeah, you mentioned Alexi too earlier. Like, this is something that's really frustrating me is that like in this setup he should be playing as a striker. Like, he has to be playing through the middle because I just don't see him providing any dynamic ability from that right side. I thought that he played terrible in this game, frankly.
It's an awful game state for him.
Yeah,
And for multiple people on this team because this team is so athletically limited in multiple areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like you're going to really find someone who's going to be an outlet and break through and hit on the counter in those moments when you're having to sit deep like that. Alexi played through pressure once or twice. He also gave the ball away in bad positions once or twice.
Yeah.
And then in a game where you are spending the majority of your time defending, you don't need him out there in that block, man. It's not going to be a good time for him. Now, to be fair, I guess
and he
they
did
put him
eventually
off
get subbed off.
Yeah. And
Which he hasn't tended to get subbed off ever in his Atlanta United career, but like it was the right thing to do there. But even outside of being down a man, like I just feel like I feel like the team is better off when he's playing through the middle, which in this setup it has to be as the striker, because he can just link play and get others involved from that position. But when it's happening from the right, it's just not as effective, in my opinion, and it's frustrating to watch.
Also, not built for this one. Arif Kovac got put in a terrible spot.
Yeah, speaking
Just
of another
awful
spot where it's like this is not how he should be.
Why? Like they spent the last press conference talking about not wanting to put everything on one player and everything like that. And I'm fine, whatever. I disagreed with the general framing of it, but I will say that putting him out in this spot to be, I don't even know what you want him to be at 6'5" and playing in a low block, and like it's not like he was ever going to be a major part of hitting on a counter. You can't really lump it up to him and have him, had the ball on or anything. It's not like anyone's going to be behind him. It was honestly really weird. It was weird.
I agree. And it's not like as like a bigger striker, he's like laying the ball off because like your team was not set up to play that way, to like break out. Like you weren't trying to do that. Like you were just trying to cover space in your own half, your own third, and be a nuisance basically. And again,
maybe there's like an argument that you put him on the really tall Philly kid in set pieces, but how much of that was really going to happen in this game?
They didn't even do that. Was he
No.
defending set pieces? I don't think he was.
I mean, I guess I killed my own argument.
Right. Well, yeah. Maybe he should have been, honestly, especially after what we saw. But very frustrating to see that. And it's just, again, it just adds to
odd decisions, man.
Yeah. But it's like the same thing with the roster, just like frustrating strategies being implemented, whether that's like with the roster construction or like actually what's happening tactically on the field right now.
Which we do have to talk about a couple of departures, Joe. Let's start with Pedro, since we're talking about some of the more frustrating roster decisions. I wrote extensively about this at Five Stripe Final, but you've heard me say it on this podcast for the entire season, even before we actually saw Elias Baez on the pitch. It just always seemed odd to put a logjam in front of a player that was providing value for cheap on a roster that desperately needed players to provide value above their station in the budget chart sheet. And I don't know if I need to elaborate more than that.
Yeah, exactly. I remember hearing from a source like a year ago, maybe over a year ago, it was like basically coming off of Pedro's breakout, into the team where he played really well, and they're like, they're looking for a left back. That they need depth there, and I get it. Like depth is fine, but basically, like they could improve at that position, and I'm just thinking like, you don't need to improve at that position. You need to improve at other positions. Like it's not a high enough leverage position for you to like really feel like you need to go out and target somebody.
It's been a theme now. We can go again all the way back to Julian and Nagby. They have always, across multiple regimes, said we think we can do better, and have failed to do better. over and over again.
Yep.
And now we're here.
Yep. Yep. And that's why fans have lost faith. There's been a loss of
Yeah.
confidence in a lot of people at the club as to who's leading the thing, because so many of their plans have just gone up in flames basically when they get implemented.
Mhm. Which is why you, dear listener, may not have a ton of confidence in their ability to replace Latte Lot, but Latte Lot is indeed gone from Atlanta United, at least temporarily. There is a small chance, a technical chance that he could, in theory, be back. It's a 1-year loan to Union Berlin, and Berlin, for some reason, is paying the entirety of his salary, which does remove him from a DP spot under MLS rules. But it is only a 1-year loan.
Mm-hmm.
And he does have a contract through 2028. So there is a world where Atlanta has to solve a 4 DP problem pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Pretty quickly. It could be very Mascara-esque. I do not think that will happen. But it is kind of, I tensed up a little bit when I realized.
In the EU. Yeah, hopefully he does well. This is a great incentive for everybody to root for him to start bagging the goals, because, and hey, maybe it actually could, I don't know, could it help Atlanta United if he's ups his value by going over there and killing it, and now they have an opportunity to sell him a year later after he's produced and, a decent team or whatnot. But I don't know, but I would have to imagine Union Berlin would have some sort of thing in the loan, this get dibs basically if he does go off or something like that, but I don't know if that's the case. But hopefully he does well.
They do have a purchase option at the end of the loan.
Oh, they do? Okay.
So they can call dibs.
Yeah.
Who knows if that'll happen.
So I'm thinking if they're investing so much in the salary, they're kind of already have a certain amount of skin in the game where they might want to keep it going at some point, but for whatever financial reason they can't do it right now. But I can't imagine this is how Atlanta United wanted this deal to turn out. I don't, and according to the reporting, it certainly sounded like the plan was for him to go to Middlesbrough. It sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Right, some potential issues there that kept him from doing it.
The way that if you've played Football Manager, you're familiar with the work permit process for getting these players in. It's a point system, so you have to and there's a certain parameters for points. So if you play 80% or if you play 50%, let's say, of your national team's games, then that's 1 point. I don't know if these are the points, but that's 1 point. If you play 80%, you have more points, and then there's other criteria. And so that's the point system. And obviously he hasn't been featuring for his national team recently. So didn't get the points they needed. It's very frustrating in Football Manager when you're trying to get players in and they don't have enough points. Especially, I think it's an England-specific thing about too. Yeah, it's England-specific below the Premier League. It's very tough. Yeah.
Well, either way, he's gone at least for now, and Atlanta United's still searching for their next striker. We had a new fighter enter the fold here, Joe Patrick, as far as rumors go. Romelu Lukaku.
Yeah, how about that?
Entering the fray as a rumor. We do not know the credibility level of that report. General sense is that the internet may be just throwing some stuff out there, but great things happen, I guess. And we do have to at least treat it with some level of seriousness. That being said, seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a bad idea. I mean, I have enough problems with some of these players who come to MLS and get on the standard American diet. I feel like Lukaku at his age and his body profile, it does not set up well. But seriously, he is just we've talked when the Darwin Nunez rumor came up. I believe we were talking about it on last week's podcast, and we both, I think, agreed that there is a box office aspect to Darwin Nunez that made him an even more enticing option than he would have just been in a vacuum. But this feels like it's going overboard. When you're looking, you should not be just looking at somebody who has name value. Exactly. They have to have the requisite qualities to succeed in MLS first. And it's not that I think Lukaku would come in and just be trash from the get go, but the way that he would age in what is likely a very expensive contract. Obviously, we are now experiencing what it's like to have underperforming DPs that you can't get rid of because they're on huge wages and they're old. That's not the situation you want to be in 2 or 3 years. You'd be stuck right back in the same problems you're dealing with right now. So I don't like it at all.
He would score, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he would
I think so
score.
too.
Probably not at an elite level, probably at a relatively consistent level. For me, that's not necessarily worth the price tag. Not worth the issues in the other phase is of the game, especially defending from the front. This team has been atrocious pressing for so long.
Yeah.
And it starts up top. It starts up top.
Man, that would be fascinating to see.
Yeah, I don't think he's a
Lukaku try
game
to
model
press.
fit. And I think there would be real problems for Atlanta United defensively in a way that there maybe wouldn't be with. I don't really know Mbolo's game as far as from a defensive standpoint,
Yeah,
but
me
I
neither.
do think he has the physical skill set to be a consistent presser.
Yeah, definitely
in
more
a
of
way
an
that
athlete.
Rom wouldn't, in a way that Darwin would be. So,
Exactly.
not the most exciting rumor we've heard, but we did want to address it right quick.
It's exciting to the lay person, but you gotta see through. You know.
All right, and we want to add too that I mean he played 5 more games than me and you did last year. Joe Patrick, Romelu Lukaku had an
it?
injury, was dealing with multiple
wow.
injuries, and was out for a while.
Wow.
So 1 goal, 5 matches for him, in I believe Serie A last year. So not what you're looking for in a DP profile. I don't think.
What's funny is that all these reports that are coming out about the various strikers that Atlanta United is looking at is talks are in early stages, which
Right.
I wonder what that means. I mean, to me, it says like they're basically in a recruiting phase with the player trying
They
to
just send the player a text that says you up. See what happens.
Right. That's
Yeah.
technically an early phase, or an early stage conversation.
Oh, Joe, we've been having lots of conversations with our listeners for a long time now. We're not in the early stages of discussions with them. And because of that, they had a lot of freaking questions for some reason.
Yeah, prime sicko. I mean, this is like prime sicko territory where like after this game, you're filling in like 3 pages of questions.
I mean, some of them are bits. Everyone's
Right.
trying to get their type 5 in, of course, but we're going to answer them anyway.
All right, let's do it.